Yo, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite workout supplements for just overall health and like building muscle and just making the whole like working out thing a little bit easier overall. Cool? So if you want those awesome, super fantastic tips, stick around. Okay, so basically you have a couple groups of people. Some people will say, wow. Okay, so some people will say you don't need supplements, you don't need vitamins, don't take anything. Your body is fine the way it is. Why, pollute your body with something that's bad for you, right? Other people will take the opposite approach and say, get all the help that you can because why not, right? If it's healthy, do it. I fall into the second group, and my unbiased opinion is that the first group of people just haven't done the necessary research to see which supplements are good for you and which ones are not. So, without further ado, let's talk about my favorites, okay? So, number one, I'm going to suggest, and these are a little bit weird, okay? Some of these are a little, you might not have heard of some of these, so that might be good for you if you're sick of hearing about the same stuff over and over again. First one I like is something called MK677 or Ibutamoren, all right? Now, this is it's called a growth hormone secretagogue, right? So basically what this does is it tricks your body into thinking that it needs to produce more growth hormone, right? Now, before you start freaking out and typing a crazy comment, this is not going to produce the same amount of growth hormone that a bodybuilder will inject himself with, let's say, to build bigger muscles. Okay, it's much smaller than that, the amount that it'll cause your body to produce. However, it's still noticeable. Now, if you guys don't know this, growth hormone is very good for making your body build more muscle, it helps you burn fat. Some of the side effects is that it makes you very hungry and it can make you a little bit tired. Okay, so those are kind of the downsides to it. But basically what it'll do is it'll make your body produce what's called ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you feel like you're hungry. And then that effect will make your body produce more growth hormone. Okay, so why am I recommending this? Why am I even bringing this up? When I've taken this, it's just much easier for me to put on muscle, all right, straight up. It's also easier for me to cheat on my diet or eat foods that are normally not that healthy, where if I ate them, I would experience a little bit of a weight gain. But when I take this, it's almost like I can absorb them with no problem. It's also good for injuries, healing. I've been injured before, tons of stuff just working out, if I hurt my back or pull a muscle or something. And injuries that would lay me up for 2-3 weeks, when I take MK677, I'm good in 2 or 3 days. Okay, so it's very good, it's very safe, there's tons of studies on it. You guys can check it out. Cool. Supplement number 2 is creatine, all right? Creatine is not a steroid. There's been literally hundreds of studies done on creatine. You guys can look on examine.com, search under creatine, literally hundreds of studies. Basically what creatine does is it gives more, makes more fuel available to your muscles, something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Anyway, who cares about that, right? Basically what it makes you do is your body, practically what does it do? When you work out, you can work out for longer and for more, with more intensity, right? When I take creatine, I notice that the same run that I'll do without it will be easier with it, right? If I'm doing Muay Thai, I notice that if I'm, doing pads with the trainer, I'll have more gas in the tank, all other things being equal. It does give you a little bit of a puffy look, and you will be drinking, I would say, about 2 to 3 times more water. So if you are fasting, just keep that in mind, that you're going to be much thirstier than if you weren't taking creatine. It does make you want to drink a lot more, okay? And they say that if you don't drink enough water, it can give you a kidney issue, but I've never had any sort of issues with that. But obviously do your own, be safe on your own. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is something called C60 Fullerene. Okay, now this one, highly doubtful you guys have heard of this, but C60 Fullerene was discovered by this guy named Buckminster Fullerene, who I believe was some scientist 50, 60 years ago or something. Anyway, the cool thing about this is that the molecule is shaped like a soccer ball, right? So I don't know how else to say it. It's a carbon atom that has 60 connections or something like that. But basically, C60 Fullerene is a type of mineral called shungite. Okay, shungite is found only in Russia, only in like some obscure mountain, or like only one place in Russia is where it's found. And it's part of like a hot spring or something. And like anecdotally, the people who lived in that area would say that that hot spring had like healing properties, right? So about 10, 15 years ago, there was a scientist who did a study on C60 Fullerene because they thought it was toxic, right? It's also called nanotubes. They make nanotechnology out of C60 Fullerene. I know this is not sounding very good to like ingest into your body, but bear with me. So they wanted to see how toxic the fullerenes were. So what they did is they took some rats, they mixed the fullerenes with olive oil because it's fat soluble and it only dissolves in olive oil, doesn't dissolve in water. And they had 3 groups of rats. One group they gave nothing to. Another group they gave only olive oil to. In the third group they gave the olive oil mixed with fullerenes. So long story short, the third group that they gave the fullerenes to, they ended up living twice as long as the other rats, right? Like even the olive oil rats, they lived for I think like 3 years. And the C60 Fullerene rats lived for, I think one of them lived for like over 6 years. Which, if you guys know anything about rats, you know that they have a very short lifespan, which is, you know, people who have rats as pets, they say that they're great, except they die in like 2-3 years. So he had a couple rats, I think one lived for 4 years, one lived for 5 years, and one lived for 6 years, something like that. But basically this study came out and like the nootropics or like smart drugs community became aware of it. And even though there were no studies done on humans, probably shouldn't be recommending that you take this, but even though there were no studies done on humans, some very brave individuals decided they would just buy some and start taking it on their own. So I was one of these brave individuals because I'm just like into this kind of thing, and I figured if it's good enough for the rats, it's good enough for me. Now, what have my experiences been taking this? Number one, same thing about injury healing, okay? My injuries heal way faster, specifically for some reason sunburns, right? If I get sunburned and I take this, it'll be gone in like a day, which is kind of cool. Number two, it almost has like a creatine-like effect in that you have more endurance in the gym. And I also feel much stronger, which is strange. I remember one time I was working out at my gym in LA and I had taken it and I was doing CrossFit workouts at the time and I was squatting and I noticed that I put 3 plates on either side and I was squatting it, okay, not for reps, but I did like 4 reps or something, which at the time was like 40 pounds heavier than anything that I'd ever done. Now I was obviously taking a lot of other stuff at the time as well, like creatine and I think probably MK677 as well. But you know, the fullerenes were the only thing that I had added in and then done that workout. So obviously it's not very scientific. However, in my experience, you know, all 3 of these are good. I've got my olive oil that I mix with fullerenes on my own. Obviously there's no human studies. Consult your doctor, do it at your own risk. Don't sue me if you like eat a cup of them and die or something like that, God forbid. But yeah, those 3 are 3 that I have found that have been working extremely well for me, for just like overall general health. Cool, so if you guys have any questions about those 3 particularly strange, maybe supplements about working out, or if you guys maybe have a question about something a little bit more conventional, let me know. Ask it in a comment. If you guys like this video, you want to see more, click like. If you want to, no wait, if you want to subscribe, click subscribe and like, yeah, peace. Oh, also, subscribe to my other channel. I have an internet marketing channel where I do like videos on how to make money online, like software reviews and stuff like that. I'll put a link in the description. Go subscribe to that channel too. Peace.